Are you looking for the best welder for beginners? In this video, we will look at some of the 5 best welder on the market. Before we get started with our video, we have included links in the description. So make sure you check those out to see which one is in your budget range. Starting at number 1. Hobart 500559 Handler 140 MIG Welder 115V. Usually, small welding machines are designed exclusively for hobbyists and beginner welders. This is because it is difficult to pack so much power into a tiny frame. What I love about the Hobart 500-559-140 is that it has risen up to this challenge. This machine can deliver a reasonable 140A, with a duty cycle of 20% at 90 amperes. These numbers indicate that it can do more than enough whenever you need to conduct some quick fixes around the house. The Hobart 500-559-140 is a hybrid welding machine. It is capable of both MIG and flux core welding. This is useful because it can work on a variety of metals. As a MIG welder, it can weld stainless steel, and aluminum. However, if you must work on slightly thicker metals, then the flux core can also work in a pinch. One aspect I appreciate about the Hobart brand in general is their comprehensive warranty. This welding machine is protected by the signature 5/3/1 year warranty, which is extremely helpful because you are reassured that the company will still continue to support you even after you made the purchase. When it comes to safety, there are several mechanisms built into the Hobart 500-559-140. The first is the self-reset thermal overloading capacity, which automatically adjusts the device once it detects that it is overheating. The second is the motor damage protection, to safeguard the longevity of what is arguably the most important part of your machine. Overall, this welding machine is definitely a steal. It's a little pricey, but it's worth it for all the additional features that's been packed into its diminutive frame. It's well worth it. If you plan to become a professional welder in the long run, then this is the ideal model for you, and this machine is the best MIG welder for beginners. I would not recommend this for heavy industrial applications, but it is more than enough to get you started. At number 2. 40 EasyWeld 261 140 FCI MIG Welder. Don't let the bright green exterior fool you. The 261-140 is remarkably lightweight, clocking in at 8.6 kilograms. This means that you can just carry it around your workshop. And despite its small stature and reduced weight, the 261-140 is big enough to handle 2-pound and 10-pound rolls of wire. One strong reason the 261-140 is on this list is its easy setup. You can go seamlessly from unpacking it to welding in just a few minutes. A simple setup is always a priority when it comes to beginners in welding. Another feature that I appreciated from this welding machine is that it uses flux core wire. These types of wires are usually applied when welding thicker metals or jobs that require welding at difficult angles. This is because it is easier to clean up slag and other debris when using flux wires. When you buy this package, you don't just get the machine. You will also receive the MIG gun, the ground clamp, a handle with the torch wrap, and an adapter that can handle 20A to 150A. These accessories do not come with your purchase, but are still highly recommended to preserve and maintain the capabilities of your machine. These include the contact tips, number 60170, number 60171, and number 60172, welding nozzles, number 85336 and number 85337, a diffuser, some flux core MIG wire, nozzle gel, and anti-spatter spray. This is practically the complete toolkit for any welder, regardless of their capacity and skill. Finally, the 261-140 is supported by a 12-month warranty. This is a decent amount of time to get to know your welding machine and seek support in case there are certain aspects of the device that you feel needs some extra work. If you need a welder that is relatively low maintenance yet still ready to take on some serious work, then this mean green machine is perfect. It is more than equipped to get you started and then help you transition into some advanced metalworking in the future. At number 3. Lincoln Electric K2185-1 Handy MIG Welder. If you're going to be welding mild steel on a regular basis, then you should consider going for the Lincoln K2185-1. This device comes from a long line of quality machinery, and its brand has been a strong presence in the welding industry for more than 100 years. This machine is primarily in MIG Welder, but it can also switch to flux core welding as well. It is definitely designed for small DIY projects and quick fixes around the house, as it excels in welding mild steel but begins to struggle beyond anything more than this metal. The K21851 has a 1-year warranty on labor and parts, which I believe is enough time to familiarize yourself with how the machine works. However, this warranty does not extend to its gun and cable. These two pieces of equipment are only warranted for 90 days after the date of purchase. When it comes to performance, the K21851 has a duty cycle of 20% at 70A as well as a variable amperage output of 35 to 88. This is a decent amount of power coupled with some versatility in case you want to add or decrease the output in certain welds. This welding machine is not fussy about its source of power either. It can easily operate off of any 115V household outlet. Considering how it is meant for use around the house or for small projects, this is a reasonable feature to have. You do not need to invest in a generator just to power up the K21851. In addition to the welding machine, you will also receive the following materials: an 8-foot clamp cable, 0.035 flux core wire with 3 corresponding tips, and 0.025 solid MIG wire with 3 corresponding tips. To conclude, this welder is a true homebody. It's not meant for commercial or heavy industrial use. Instead, it's the perfect companion for welders who want a machine capable of fixing things up or improving small features around the home. At number 4. AHP AlphaTIG 203 Sheet 200 amp IGBT AC/DC TIG. The AHP 200X is primarily a TIG welder, with some stick welding capabilities. This machine can run on dual voltage, which is an advantage for beginners. You can either run it on 110V or 220V. As a result, you do not need to invest in generators, and you can also freely move this machine from one area to another without having to worry about its source of power. In my experience, I did not find any difference in performance when it came to switching between the different voltages. It still performed at a duty cycle of 60% at 200A as a TIG welder, and 35% at 155A as a stick welder. That's a fair amount of time and work that you can get done before the machine overheats. A word of caution to beginners: the control panel of this model may be a bit overwhelming at first, because there are a lot of options that you need to set before you can start your work. It will definitely require a bit more intensive studying and tweaking until you are satisfied with the output of the machine. One challenge to the AHP 200X is that it is not lightweight. It is 31 kilograms, and you will likely need to invest in a cart to quickly transport it from one place to another. Now to the strongest selling point of this device, which, ironically, is also one of its greatest challenges. This welding machine has a number of options that you can use to work on difficult types of welds, such as the pulse frequency and the 2T/4T switch for when you need to weld out of position with a foot pedal. This is the instrument for welding veterans who want to get straight to work on out-of-position welds and other slightly complex metalworking activities. The AHP 200X will be capable of seeing you through the job while simultaneously mitigating your exposure to risk. I feel that this is the strongest selling point of the AHP 200X, that it is capable of performing difficult or inconvenient welds while remaining relatively user-friendly for beginners. Do you see yourself as the kind of welder who will be working on a variety of jobs? Consider taking on the AHP 200X. This is a robust and dependable model that can work on complicated welds in the long run. At number 5. WeldPro 203-in-1 Multi Process Welder. Looking for a well-rounded and versatile welding machine? Look no further than the WeldPro 200. This mid-range machine is capable of several functions, which we will quickly go over below. Apart from flux core and MIG welding, this model can also perform stick welding, aluminum welding, and TIG welding. In my experience, I found it easy to switch between different modes so that I could work on different types of metal. I enjoyed working on different pieces with just one machine by my side. One clear advantage for beginners in this welding machine has over the others would be its display. The dual digital display takes care of tracking your machine status. With this support, you can devote more time paying attention to your weld. Finally, one small but important feature I would like to highlight in this welder model would be how all the controls you need to know about are highlighted. When you're in the middle of work and you need to switch from one setting to another, then all you should do is look for the familiar yellow highlights to make the necessary adjustments. When you are a beginner and you need to think on your toes, this feature goes a long way in ensuring seamless welds. 2 years is a reasonable amount of time to understand how your machine works and what you must do to keep it well maintained. This welding machine has a 2-year warranty, so you know that you are supported even after your purchase. Overall, this multifunctional welder is a worthwhile addition to any toolkit. It's a solid model to start with if you want to try your hand at multiple welding methods instead of just sticking to one. While it is not one of the cheapest models available, it is definitely one of the most worthwhile investments to make, especially when you consider everything that this device is capable of doing.